Northern League newcomers in action. Roll those credits. Good evening everyone, and welcome to another new video on the channel. Do please remember as usual to like, to comment and subscribe, because it really does help us in continuing to establish Just a Sec TV. It is Tuesday, July the 2nd, and this evening we have our first evening game of the season, and it's the first match as a Northern League club for Seaton Carew, newly promoted from the Wearside League as champions, against Northern League Division 1 side Horden CW. So let's head off to the Seaton Carew seafront and see what on earth is going on. So here we are in Seaton Carew, and coming into tonight's game, last season Seaton Carew were the champions of the Wearside League Premier Division, winning the league comfortably, and they're now preparing for their first ever season in the Northern League Division 2 at Step 6. And today's visitors, Horden CW, had a good first season up at Step 5. They were promoted the previous season from the Northern League Division 2 to Division 1, and for a good part of the season they were actually in a playoff hunt for back-to-back promotions, but they rather fizzled out in the last 3 to 4 months of the season. But nonetheless, they can be very happy with their progress and their first season at that level, and they'll be obviously looking to push on again in the new season. So it's an intriguing clash. Let's head into Hornby Park and see how it all pans out. And here we are then again at the entrance to Seaton Carew. So here we are inside Hornby Park, and we actually covered this ground and the new ground improvements which are still ongoing at the back end of last season, when we came here for a Wearside League Premier Division game against Horden Corinthians. So if you go back and look at the saved videos, you won't have far to go back. It was in either late April or May at the end of last season. So look for Seaton Carew versus Horden Corinthians, and you can see a full tour of all of these ground improvements. But since we were last here, you can see that there's work being done on the concrete path back up to the cricket clubhouse, and that will be completed in the next few days. And as for the accommodation behind the goals that we again showed you on that video at the far end, they will be open for the first time. They've already got power supply in. When they play Hartlepool United a week on Saturday here, that will be, if you like, the grand opening of the dressing rooms and the tea hut. and the floodlights are still on schedule to be up by mid-August, in time for the start of the FA Vars. So everything very much on schedule. 3 sides of the ground are now concreted, just 1 more to go, and it's all systems go here at Hornby Park. And the teams are coming out for tonight's friendly, and Seaton Carew have actually changed their colours this season, which isn't reflected in the strip that they're wearing tonight. They're back in last season's black and white kit, but they've actually changed to the historic colours of the Seaton Carew club as a whole, which is a sort of Bradford City style colour, sort of maroon and yellow, gold. That kit's arrived, but they're not wearing it tonight. I think, like everything else here with the new stands and that, I think they're going to wear it for the first time against Hartlepool United a week on Saturday. And Horden CW also in a change colour tonight. They're normally, of course, red and black, but they're wearing all light blue this evening. So we're underway here at Hornby Park, and as usual, with this being, like Redcar, a seafront venue, apologies for any wind noise that interferes with commentary tonight. Henderson with a cross in from the right for Horden, and that's straight away going to be an early corner for the visitors. So it's going to be Josh Daly who goes short with the corner for Horden, and all the way through and just about gathered by Matty Wilkinson in the home goal, it was Philly Angus who fired the shot in. Horden on the attack again, and it's an early goal. It's in the back of the net. It's the captain Jack Pounder who's found the net, and after just a couple of minutes here, the scoreline: Seaton Carew 0, Horden CW 1. So it's a free kick for Seaton Carew, giving them their first chance to threaten the visitors' goal. It's going to be Liam Wright with the free kick. Plays it to the edge of the box, and a chance, and almost an equaliser. It was Harry Thompson who saw his effort, scrambled wide, and it's the first corner of the game for Seaton. It's going to be Lithgow with the corner. It into the box. It's headed a good way over. Josh Flint for the Marras as they look to attack again. Playing it across the back to Ben Riding, the former Sunderland RCA captain. Angus, and Horden win another corner. So it's going to be Daly again on Horden corner duty, and the referee not happy with something going on in the middle. Having a word with the a defender. Now here comes Daly, take 2. Fired into the middle and fired wide by Pounder. Free kick for Horden with Josh Daly continuing on set piece duty. Fires it into the box and headed clear. Had a good save by Wilkinson. And hits the bar after the ball was robbed. That was Philly Angus with that strike, and I don't think Matty Wilkinson was going to save that if it had drifted in, but for now the score remains 1-0. So another free kick to Horden, just inside the Seaton Carew half, and once again it's Daly with the ball at his feet. Plays it to the edge of the area, and headed towards goal by Riding, and it's held by Wilkinson. Henderson goes for goal and it's just wide. And once again it's going to be Daly on free kick duty. It's just at the outer limits of having a pop at goal. Let's see what he does with it. Going for the up and over and headed over the bar. Quickly taken free kick from Seaton, almost sees them on the attack. Robbed by Wallace. Wallace goes for goal and that's quite easy for Wilkinson. Pounder showing good strength. Gales fires the ball into the edge of the area. Round the corner, and Gales, and he's brought down, and not according to the referee. No penalty. And a stray back pass has given Seaton Carew a rare opportunity in the attacking third, and it's going to be Liam Wright with their second corner of the match. Wright, hacked clear, and there is the half-time whistle. And the goal arrived in the second minute, and the half-time score here at Hornby Park is Seaton Carew 0, Horden CW 1. Half-time then, Seaton Carew 0, Horden CW 1. The goal arriving very early, and Seaton struggling to cope in the opening 15 minutes of the game, but to be fair to them, they've settled down since then, and although they haven't managed to seriously threaten the visitors' goal, they have at least largely nullified the attacking threat, and they'll be happy with the way they've applied themselves in the opening 45. Clearly Horden look the more accomplished on the ball, dominating possession, but tenacious work from the home defence that's keeping, for the moment at least, the score down. So let's see what happens in the second 45. So we're back underway here at Hornby Park in the late evening sunshine. The home side making several changes at the break, but none so far from the visitors. Gill plays the ball forward to Pollard and held by the keeper. So on the attack for Horden, and fires well over. Ball played into the box, and it's going to be held by the sub-keeper Linsell. And Seaton on the attack down the right. And a good save from the keeper there to deny Matty Pollard an equaliser, and it's going to be a corner to the home side. So Wright with the first corner for Seaton in the second half, punch clear by the keeper. And just wide, a low drilled effort there from Brad Popple. And we remain as Horden look to break straight from the kick-off and cross from the left and top. And just fired wide after the ball caught in the air. And a strike at goal that's held low down by Linsell. And fired over the bar by the substitute. Horden spurning a shed load of chances in this game. And Seaton Carew fired a ball across the face of goal, but it's held low down by the keeper. And behind the defence again, played across the face of goal, but lacks direction, but it's picked up by Cowan. Cheeky back heel to Daly. And now Gales. Daly round the corner. And a great save there by Linsell to deny a second. Daly, who's had a very busy night on set pieces, fires another one in. And behind again. Daly on corner duty yet again. High into the box, headed in the air. And cleared upfield. And Seaton on the attack, but the referees pulled it back for a head knock. Horden on the attack again, ball crossed in to Cowan and meets it with a good strike, well held by Linsell low down. He going forward for Seaton and goes for goal, but it's well wide. Gorman to Cahill. Murphy and loses out. Kept in by Cockrell. Linsell back to Cockrell. Ball won back by Horden. And kept out again by Linsell to deny Daly. And headed into the net by the substitute. It was a floated ball in, and the keeper failed to deal with it, and headed in by the sub, whose name I don't have, but it is 2-0 to the visitors. On the attack again, and offside. And the referee blows the final whistle here at Hornby Park in a match in which the scoreline reflects the balance of play between the two sides. It ends Seaton Carew 0, Horden CW 2. So it finishes Seaton Carew 0, Horden CW 2. Obviously a good run out for both sides, where fitness is the order of the day in these games more than anything else. From Seaton, it will show them that this season is going to be a bit different to last, where obviously they were winning most games they played in very comfortably. Obviously Horden are a division higher than the level they're going to be playing in Northern League Division 2, but it will give them some idea of the gap that they're now having to close with their promotion, and the fact that obviously things are going to be a lot tougher this time around. From that point of view, they'll be pleased with the defensive play display that they put in both halves. Obviously keeping a good quality Division 1 side out for the majority of the game, creating a couple of chances themselves, but not many over the course of the game, as you'll see from the highlights package. From Horden's point of view, obviously one of the things that has sort of plagued them last season, and really was probably the difference between them not making the playoffs, was the fact that they don't have a really recognised striker that puts a large number of goals away, which is typical of all the sides at the top of the Northern League Division 1. You know, they normally have a standout striker that gets 20 goals plus a season. Horden didn't really have that last season, and again in the match last night they were guilty of missing, you know, quite a lot of pretty gilt-edged chances, and obviously they know, having spoken to a couple of their people at the game, that is where the problem area in their side currently lies, and something that I'm sure that they'll still be looking to address transfer-wise between now and the start of the season. But nonetheless, an enjoyable night. Good to see Seaton getting everything geared up. Shame we couldn't have come back a little bit nearer the start of the season where all of the new facilities were open, but I'm sure that we will visit once the season proper is underway. And that is that for this video, but we'll be back in action again tonight when we're travelling for the local derby, local memorial game between Willington and Crooktown, I should say, as they call themselves. So come back and see that one. The video will be out on Saturday morning, and until then, thanks as ever. Appreciate you all watching Just a Sec TV.